we will be seeing a short video, and yes, it is an audio visual.
The story is about an insect on a farm. This insect was on the back of a pig, and whilst crawling there, it finds a patch of mud. This insect was very impressed with this big land that it had discovered. It's about an insect on a farm. This insect was on the back of a pig, and whilst crawling there, it finds a patch of mud. This insect was very impressed with this big land that it had discovered. It was busy building a fence and putting notices claiming the land by his name. One eagle comes down and asks the insect, "Do you want to come to the sky? Do you want to be..." The idea of the higher consciousness is grasped easily through this story. The story is about an insect on a farm. This insect was on the back of a pig, and whilst crawling there, it finds a patch of mud. This insect was very impressed with this big land that it had discovered. It was busy building a fence and putting notices claiming the land by his name. One eagle comes down and asks the insect, "Do you want to come to the sky? Do you want to become an eagle?" The insect said, "Sky? What is there in the sky? What is it?" The eagle answered, "I will show you the world beyond the clouds. I will show you the sun. I will show you the valleys and the mountains. You will see the trees, the animals. I will also show you the pig. You will see the pig properly." The insect said, "That is extraordinary. But I found this amazing land. I don't want to let go of this land. This is something very rare. I'd still consider coming to the sky, but after a week. By then I should be free." The eagle left, and as requested, returned after a week, and again asked the insect, "Do you want to come to the sky? Are you ready?" The insect replied, "I found more land. These are extraordinary times, new opportunities. So this time I can't come. I'm busy. I'm a success. But let's try again in another week's time." The eagle flies high in the sky and then returns again after a week and asks, "Are you ready to come to the sky?" The insect replied, "Now we have some cracks on my land. I'm busy fixing the cracks. I myself need help here. How can I just drop it all and go to the sky? I'd better not think of the sky." So the insect remained in the mud on the back of the pig. This story tells us about two levels of consciousness. Each and every one has these options. The insect has its own ideas of success and progress. It experiences its own happiness. But seen objectively, there is no comparison between the life of the eagle and the life of the insect. The eagle will never ever choose to settle down in the mud and consider it to be a success. All that is required is to come out of the successful insect syndrome. One who is sensible will not compromise the sky for even 1 second. His attitude will be, I want to experience the sky now. I want to be the eagle this second. And if I have still got some things to do, fix cracks, help others, I will do that as an eagle. This is our story. We have the option to approach this world from a higher consciousness.
These stories, no? Different stories, and they give much bigger message than any lectures. A deep insight that there is a life here that is happening. By this understanding, we are in the ant world. The ants are busy, full-time busy. They have found some sticky sugar, some big excitements and progress, and they don't know what is happening beyond that ant world. The life of birds and humans, there is so much going on, but ants are caught in their own little world. And we are at present like that. We are caught at this level, and what the spiritual message tells us, there is a sky. There is more than the ant hill, and there is option to see differently. This is a potential of the human being. In different stories are telling us that there is the other dimension to experience. And from there you win the sky, also win the earth. You are not renouncing this, but you are coming back to the insect world, to the farm, pig farm. You are still coming back, but you know something more. That is the difference. You might still go and deal with the cracks. One student in Cambride, she said, I already got funding to do my PhD. Should I finish the PhD or should I go to the sky? What will you answer? She should finish the PhD and then go to the sky, or drop the PhD, go to the sky? Finish the PhD, then go to the sky. What do you think? Finish the PhD? Right, yes. This offer is so big that you have to first no compromise on the option of the sky. In 1 second, you want to know more about this. And having discovered the sky and discovered the eagle, if you still want to go back and fix the cracks and help others fix the cracks, go there as an eagle. There is no reason to stay with that insect mind and mentality, not for 1 second more. If you have understood the option. Most people in this world, their idea of progress is forward. They want more land and more, sort of achievements. That is what their idea of progress. Here we are speaking about vertical progress. We are discovering another dimension. But it is right, because in this there is fulfillment. In this other level, regardless of what one achieves, unfulfillment continues. So he feels he needs more and more. He gets caught into this. Whether it is with money, he never gets fulfillment. He's just, he's still in this back to square one. He wants the same thing again. He thinks maybe he will drink coffee, he will, he goes into sense pleasures, lust, greed, ego, a little more praise, the position. Still he is in the same trap. He never feels fulfilled at that level. Do you agree? In a position you can become president and still you are feeling the same. Do you agree? If you don't agree, ask Mr. Trump. And you are at the same level, and there is other option. Option is the other dimension. And at that level, starting position is full. You are fulfilled. That absolute security has got a power to make us experience the fulfillment. And then all this desperation finishes. We have mentioned, we have seen that security comes with its friends. Whether it is fulfillment, peace, it comes with the entourage. And you feel there is, you found. And then everything is bonus. That's why you never feel there is injustice or unfairness. You never feel. This is, whole thing is temporary, beforehand. And, there is never offense, there is never any death, never any harm. Because you are internally, you are never a victim and you are never a slave, never a beggar. In that other consciousness, you are forever a beggar. Regardless of what you got, you want more. Something. You are constantly needing more. These are the lowest denominations. Beggar, victim, slave, all this. That lower consciousness comes with it. And then he works on outside, he wants to collect more millions and he wants to collect more gold and collect more cakes and some people to praise him. But the inside, the mind is polluted by that slave and victim personality. And some psychologist might say that is normal because you study 100 people, they all are behaving like this. They say it is normal because science works like this. You experiment with. They even say animals behave like this, so it is normal for human beings. This is kind of argument. And spiritual knowledge says no. This whole world is behaving like this. But it is not normal. We have the option, something different, and that we can experiment. We give the example. We just need a hint, and then start using the wings. You don't need anything more. Our aim today is just to give you a hint. Are you okay with this? No proof, no evidence, just a hint. But the homework starts. We have to start using the wings and experience and prove this whole area for yourselves. We'll create some opportunities for practice right now, and then we'll see another short video. In this practice, we are taking 4 steps. Are you okay with this? But before that, any questions you want to, after lunch it is good to have a little bit of a lighter, if any questions you want to ask, and then these are the questions of others also, so they are useful.
Get a glimpse of this primary world or a higher dimension. The words like detachment or involvement, these are all just hypothesis. Have you experienced this higher dimension? And is there a correct procedure or set of steps to reach that?
Yeah. Some of the things we have spoken, they are good to start with. And not like we start and we have shown upward spiral. Say if you are climbing up a mountain, for 10 minutes you climb up, then you will see your town better from a little higher position. You walk for another 10 minutes, you will see even better, from a higher position. And now that you have walked for 20 minutes, you can see the next steps also better. So the game is, you have to start, and once you start with that, even 1 minute of practice, you get glimpses. You said you need a glimpse. This is such a thing, no one else can impose this on anyone else. We need to use our own wings in a sense. And then you get glimpses, and with that glimpse comes clarity. You are not just words anymore, you are understanding what is happening here. And and that helps you to take the next step. And it becomes refined. Anything, whether it is music or sport, you practice one day, next day you are better. After 1 month, you will be taking part in the tournament even. And that's so same here. You practice, you will only get better every minute you are practicing. Does that help?
What's holding us out? Is it past life samskaras?
What is holding us back? Actually, what is holding us back in this, when we have crossed the line, we give birth. Let us use some color. When we cross the line, we give birth to a false ego. And something defines us, and it is a false definition. You are defining yourself based upon the story. Use the story to define yourself. Understand? We said the truth about all of us, we are the actors, but invisible actors. That is the only truth. If we are actors, you are that. If you are a guest, that is what you are. You are associated with these things so temporarily. You may be in a job, but you are in that job so temporarily. Your life is much more than that. But we give birth to the ego, and shown here as I, but it's a false I. And once you give birth to anything, any creature, insect, bird, you give birth to a creature, no one wants to die. They will give a fight to survive. Like for an ant, you try to threaten an ant, it will bite you. Understand, no? So they want to survive, every creature. So also ego. Ego wants to survive. But ego lives in an upside down position. It lives in the story. It wants to ignore the real world and lives at this level. That is the perspective of the ego. And for you to come back in that higher position, you are removing the ego. That is your aim. You want to. So ego is going to resist. So resistance comes from our own false identity, the false ego. I'll tell you one example. One time, one gathering in Cambridge, we were talking about the journey of the soul, and we are associated with all these things, but we identify, someone may identify herself, I'm a mother of so-and-so, and someone thinks, another person creates his idea of self is, I'm the owner of this big car, and someone else identifies with a position. We were giving just making a bit of a joke about how we identify with different things. And one person raised his hand. I said, yes. And he said, but I'm professor here, and how is it possible for me not to be a professor? So we said, okay, there was a time you were a baby, you are not a professor. And maybe next year you might be prime minister, but not a professor. So professor is a temporary job you are associated with. You are more than a professor. His wife was also there, and she is understanding it, and it appeared everyone understands it. So we moved further, we were talking something more. 10 minutes, he raised his hand again. I said, yes. He said, everyone knows I am professor. He's still thinking about this, about professor. He said, everyone knows I am professor. How is it possible I am not a professor? Now the important thing is, he said, everyone knows I am professor. And that is exactly what happens with all of us. Everyone else sees you in a certain way, and you feel crowd can never be wrong. Everyone sees you as if this is your world and this is you, and you are the one, someone's mother and someone's wife. That is the way people see you, and you accept as if that is your main identity. You are here as a wife of someone, and all of this leads to you getting disconnected from yourselves. We said the whole world at present is disconnected from their own world. They are disconnected from their true family, but also disconnected from themselves. Our aim is to come back to ourselves. I'll come to this discussion from science and philosophy, just a 10-minute discussion. In science and in philosophy, there is an understanding that the world is big, and so the world is represented by this line. Let us say, let us draw a proper straight line. So here is the world. And there is a caterpillar trying to understand this world. But the caterpillar has got just one sense. It hasn't got eyes, ears, just touch. So the world it can ever know is a small world. Understand? Because moon doesn't exist, music doesn't exist. Its world is based upon the senses. There are other creatures who have got more senses, they know more of the world. Human beings have got 5 senses, and through my 5 senses, I know more of the world. But the world I can ever know is limited to my 5 senses. It also means there is a world that our eyes and ears cannot see, our senses cannot see. And this world, we call it non-physical world. Non-physical to human beings, but it is a world that exists. But some other creatures can access that world. We all know your cat and dog knows more than you. Do you know this? Those who got cat, dog, they can understand something more. Scientists try to study pigeons, homing pigeons, in experimental conditions. They can still come back to that same tree from a distance of 18 miles, up to 18 miles. So even if they cannot see, they cannot smell, they cannot hear, and you release them some distance, they go in the right direction and they crash land on the same tree. So homing pigeons, what do they see? We do not know. But they certainly are not using the five senses. They got some other senses. So the world of our senses, we call it physical world. The methodology of science, which relies upon the sense experiments and looking for evidence at a sense level, it can only study that world. It cannot study the non-physical world, the methodology of science. So it is not a method that can be used to study truth, but it can study the physical world, but not the truth. They don't disagree, they agree that there is a limitation and there is a bigger world, they agree with it. Some scientists, they say the science itself needs to be revamped so that we can know properly. Otherwise, we see scientists as gods at present. So we need evidence from scientists. But the methodology of science is handicapped, is limited. So they say it needs to be revamped. Now let us come to the question of I. True self. We want to know who is this I. Very important question for everyone. Let us say here is a man who is 80 years of age. He looks 90 here. And he says he was the same one in school 70 years ago. He was in school then and he says, I am here now. Medical evidence tells us that every atom here is different to every atom here. The body is constantly changing. Not just when you eat and drink, but even as you breathe, body is getting replaced. You know that? Even as you breathe, body is getting replaced. Our sleep, our breath cycle takes 6 seconds. Around 6 seconds, one breath cycle. Do you know how many atoms are replaced in your body in this one breath cycle? Make a guess. 10 raised to 22, these many atoms. Then these atoms are from your bones and kidneys and liver. Those atoms are thrown into the air and equal atoms from the air are going into your body. And there is perfusion, so they just don't go into the lungs, they go into the bloodstream and they go into your bones and they go into the body. So just in the last half an hour we've been in this room, you are throwing out your body. As you breathe out, you are throwing out your body. And someone else is breathing it in. This is what has been happening, all the time. This is law. And on top of this, now and then you are drinking and eating, and so new molecules are coming in, and the body is getting replaced. Our brain, the mass of the brain, at a molecule level, there are different molecules in 3 days' time. Cells are the same. Cells are permanent cells. But its molecules are completely different in 3 days' time. It is a bit like this chair. One day this is replaced, one day this is replaced, one day. And then after 1 week it is a different chair, but it appears to be the same chair because it is in the same place. Understand, no? So same is happening with our body. Constantly it is getting replaced. My hairstyle appears to be the same hairstyle. I don't change hairstyles that often. But if you saw me last year and to this year, the matter is different. No, not anymore. No, not anymore. This is okay. Yeah, the matter is different, but shape, the style appears to be the same. Same thing is happening to the body at every level. It is molecules are replaced. So over a period of 70 years, the body is replaced many times. But he says, I'm the same person. And you will say the same thing, that you are the same person today and you are the same person in school. Who is that person we are talking about? That person we are talking about is the experiencer. One who experienced. That is the most central function for the self. Where is you? Wherever there is experience, that is where you are. And that's the experiencer was there in school and the experiencer is here today. Where is he? If the molecules are replaced and atoms are replaced, where is he? This experiencer. It is not in the molecules and the atoms. It is at the non-physical part of the world. It is not the physical part of the world. And that is why what we've been talking so far, the guest and the invisible traveler, and we're talking about our invisible dimension, invisible reality. That whole dimension is not in the physical reality. If it is in the physical reality, all these ideas would have been taught in the normal universities. But because it is in the non-physical part, we need to use different intellect to understand this. And so some common sense tells us that there is this experiencer, the true self is continuing the journey and other things are getting replaced. Just like I was sitting here and in between maybe the chair is replaced even, chair is different but the person is the same person. It is like that. The things are getting replaced but the real you is continuing. One brain specialist, and his name is Professor Eccles. Some of you might have heard this name, Professor Eccles. He got Nobel Prize for Medicine many years ago, and his brain physiology, he uses the word soul using the brain. There are many people who like to say that brain does everything. We can't explain it, but they say in future we will be able to explain. But Eccles, he knows everything about brain. And he says soul uses the brain. In the last some 30 years, maybe more than 30 years, there are people who study out-of-body experiences. And they say 6% of the population have out-of-body experiences. 6% is, some 60 million people on this planet at some point had out-of-body experiences. That's a big number. Anyone here had out-of-body experiences in the last 15 minutes? I'm joking. But when I ask this question, many hands go up, and I am myself surprised that usually hands go up. I think here people are possibly a bit shy, but there are possibly more people who have experiences. So this is out of body. There are equal number of people who had near-death experience. It is called NDE. And they leave the body, they go into some other experiences, come back, and they see everything that was going on. One such patient, when he got resuscitated, recovered, they couldn't find his dentures. Understand, no? Because he had a cardiac arrest, he was serious, he was in intensive care. But when he recovered, they found that they don't know where their dentures are lost. He said, I know where they are. In one of the, he was moved into different wards at different time. He said that particular nurse took out those dentures, put them in the drawer, and second drawer, he pointed out everything. He knew. He was keeping an eye on his dentures. He didn't want to lose the dentures. But he was unconscious, body was unconscious, but he was seeing it from the invisible, extra-corporeal way. They are called near-death experiences. But another very interesting study that we are going to see the video on this is by one researcher by name Ian Stevenson.